Hey sevens, this is exercise 6C, which is on addition and subtraction of decimals, and is on page 325 of your textbook. So we've talked about what decimals are and how to round them. Today we'll be talking about how to add and subtract them. So there are a couple of rules for adding and subtracting decimals, but the name of the game is to align all your decimal points. Your decimal points, decimal places have to be aligned so that it makes sense. You can't take away a different place value from another, but without lining it up. That doesn't make sense. So we have to make sure it's aligned. So once our decimal points are aligned, we're good. We just need to make sure the decimal point is in the answer is aligned with each decimal point in the question. So for example, if you're looking down here, you'll see a couple of them. We've got different numbers and they've got different decimal places, right? In particular, let's say, for example, this one over here. Different decimal places, they've got different values. So we've got to make sure they're all lined up. Once it's aligned, we just need to make sure that we add and subtract as per usual. Sometimes it's actually helpful to place additional zeros so that it makes sense. So for example, if I have a number like 8.4, it's not just 8.4. This is the same as if I write 8.4000. It's the same thing, okay? So adding zeros on the end doesn't change anything if it's after the decimal point. If I write 8, that is not the same as 8000. Obviously, it's not the same. 8 is not the same as 8,000. But if it was 8, and that is equal to 8.0000, I can write as many zeros as I want because it's 8.000. So if it's after the decimal point, then we can just add as many zeros as we want, and it's still the same number. And that's how we can make things line up a bit easier. So for the first example over here, 7.2, 8.5, and 13.032 are added together. Find which of the following is the best way to prepare the numbers ready for addition. Now, for addition, we need to it doesn't really matter which order it is, but we need to make sure our decimal points line up. So if I was to go ahead and draw a line where the decimal points go through, that's straight, that's okay. That is not straight, so we don't want this one over here. This one is straight, so that's fine. This one looks like it's straight, but it's actually not straight because there's two values here, digits here before the decimal point, so it's not the same. So we don't want that one. So it's between A and C. Now the question is, which one helps us the best? Which one's the easiest, right? Would it be easier to say, well, there's nothing here, so how do I add these and the 2 there? Well, it's a bit confusing, right? So what we do instead is we draw zeros to fill in the spaces. And we can do that so that I know when I add them together, it's going to equate to something that I know. So for example, 0 plus 0 is 2, plus 2, is 2. I end up with the next one, which is 2 plus 0 plus 3, which is 5. 1 plus 5 plus 0 is 6. I draw the decimal point there because I'm drawing the decimal point there. So 7 plus 8 gives me 15, plus 3 gives me 18. So I write the 8 with a dot on the line on top. 1 plus 1 gives me 2, and that would be my answer. Whereas this one over here would be a bit confusing. So the answer is C. Now, it's a very, very similar process for subtraction, except with instead of addition, obviously, we're subtracting. So for question 2, which of the following is the correct way to present and solve the subtraction problem? So same thing as always, we make sure our decimal points are lined up. 1, 2, 3, bam, 1, 2, 3, they're all straight. This is not straight, so I don't want that. This is also not straight, so I don't want this either. So it's either between A or B. Now, same thing as before, we draw the zeros so that it makes more sense. So in this case over here, there's nothing there. It will get very confusing. So instead, we draw a zero there to fill in the blanks so that we can subtract it. And B is our answer over here. Hopefully that makes a bit of sense. Let's go ahead and try and do some examples. So, question find A. So we've got to find 8.31. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my values in. So 8.31 plus 5.93. Add them together. Now you notice that my decimal points are aligned. They're in a straight line down. So 1 plus 3 gives me 4. 3 plus 9 gives me 12. Sorry. So write 2. Put the line up there. Decimal point stays there. And then I write, well, 8 plus 5 is 13. So 13 plus 1 gives me 14. Now, a good way for you to test out whether what you're doing is about to be correct, you need to make, like, you can estimate the value so that you can approximate what your value should be. So in this case over here, I know that 5.93, that's pretty close to 6. It's about 6. It's about 6, there we go. And I know that this one over here is about 8. 8.3 is about 8. So if I was to say what's 8 plus 6, you know that it's 14. But if you end up with an answer that's like 142.4, then you know you've done something wrong. So that's a good way for us to test that we've done something right, or we've done it the right process. Let's go ahead and do this second example. So B is 64.8 plus 3.012 plus 5.94, and I add them together. Once again, there's a lot of spaces, so let's go ahead and fill them up with zeros. Okay, let's add them. 0 plus 2 plus 0 gives me 2. 0 plus 1 plus 4 gives me 5. 8 plus 0 plus 9 gives me 17, so 7, and then the line. The decimal place comes down. 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 5 is 12, plus the 1 from up here is 13, so write 3 and then the line. 6 plus 1 gives me 7. Once again, here, I know that 64.8 is about 65. I know that 3.012 is about 3. And I know that 5.94 is about 6. So 65 plus 3 would give me 68. 68 plus 6 would give me 74. So it should be the total answer should be about 74. You've ended up with 73.752. That looks pretty good to me. All right, let's go ahead and do some subtraction. So for this one, we've got to find 5.83. 5.83, remember our decimal places have to line up. Take away 3.12. So here, I go 3 minus 2 is 1. 8 minus 1 is 7. I bring the decimal point down. 5 minus 3 is 2. Bam, that's it. Once again, approximating, this is about, 5.83 is about 6. 3.12 is about 3. So 6 minus 3 would give me 3. And it's approximately 3. 2.71 is about 3. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and do B. 146.35. Take away 79.5. Now I fill in the gap, so I've got a 0 here. 5 minus 0 gives me 5. Now 3 minus 5, I can't do that yet, right? So I bring the 1 over. So it's 13 minus 5. That's 8. Put the dot there. Now that's no longer a 6, that's a 5 now, right? Let's use a different color to show that. It's not a 6, it's a 5 now. So I say, what's 5 minus 9? I can't do that. So I bring the 1 over. So now it's 15 minus 9, which gives me 6. So I'm put the 6 there. What is, now that's no longer a 4, it's a 3 now. So what's 3 minus 7? We can't do that. Let's bring the 1 over. So 13 minus 7 gives me an answer of 6. So I write that. I get 66.85 to once again approximate that number there. I'm going to say it's about 150. This here, that's about 80. So 150 take away 80, that should give me about 70, right? Oops. That should give me 70, or approximately 70. We've gotten 66.85. That is pretty good. That means our answer should be correct. Hopefully this video helps. Let me know if you need any help.